Why are you going to Lebanon? Isn't there a war? Are you crazy? That's what everyone kept saying when I told them I was going to Lebanon. They looked at me like I had lost my mind. Some of you might be worried for my safety or wondering why I will even step foot in a country that is supposedly in the middle of a war.
Deadly port explosion in Beirut.
And I get it. When you watch the news, all you see is war, destruction, and chaos. But here is the thing, I needed to see it for myself. The media tells one story, but what's the reality? My mission is simple, to uncover the truth about Lebanon, beyond the headlines, beyond the fear, and beyond what most people will dare to see. Before I arrived, I had no idea what to expect. The only thing I knew about Lebanon was what I saw on the news. War, instability, danger. And what if that wasn't the full story? Was I walking into a war zone or something completely different? Stepping off the plane, I braced myself for the tension in the air, soldiers everywhere. But instead, the first thing I saw was normal streets, people everywhere, laughter, and everything you can think about. Lebanon was totally normal. My trip to Lebanon hadn't even started and it was already falling apart. My suitcase was gone. Shout out to Egypt there for losing it. Just like that, I had no clothes, no essentials, nothing. I reported it, got a slip confirming its disappearance, and I realized something odd at Beirut airport. Nobody checks if you are taking your own luggage. Anybody could just grab a bag and leave. What if someone had taken mine? Would I ever see it again? After the whole airport drama, we got a taxi and headed to our hotel, or at least what we thought was our hotel. But before we got to our hotel, we stopped to exchange our US dollars to Lebanese pounds, and the rate was $100 to 8.7 million Lebanese pounds. Oh baby, I'm a millionaire. For a second, I felt like I had entered some alternate reality where I was rich. Until I realized 8.7 million doesn't really get you that far here. And the moment we arrived at our hotel, we realized we had been played. What we booked versus what we saw, two different realities, looked nothing like the pictures. So we began hotel hopping, searching for a place that didn't make us want to cry. And when I tell you accommodation can make or break your trip, I mean it. Finally, after way too much stress, we found a hostel. We booked a private room for 3 instead of dormitory beds because, let's be real, we weren't ready for full hostel life. And the moment we arrived, we felt relieved. It wasn't just decent, it was actually nice. The place was cozy, the staff were welcoming, and for first-time hostel goers, it was a totally new experience for us. We settled in, got some rest, and then right next to our hostel, we saw something that was surprising. We saw a house that looked like it had been bombed, and for the first time, it hit me. I wasn't just in Lebanon to explore. I was here to witness a country that had survived so much, yet still stood strong. Were we scared? Not exactly, or maybe just a little. But we decided to move ahead and we started with our first adventure in Lebanon, which was the Sosok Museum. And let me tell you, this place is a story in itself. Back in 1912, Lebanese aristocrat Nicholas Ibrahim Sosok built a stunning private villa, which was his own little masterpiece. But he had a bigger vision. In his will, he made sure that when he passed, the villa became a museum for the city of Beirut. And in 1961, the vision came to life. Fast forward to August 4, 2020, when tragedy struck. The Beirut explosion caused massive damage to the museum, destroying some of its priceless artworks. But Lebanon doesn't back down. Thanks to all the donors, including a 1 million euros donation from the Italian government, the museum was restored and reopened in May 2023. And just when you think the story is over, in 2024, with rising tensions in Lebanon, UNESCO stepped in, granting enhanced protection to the museum and 33 other cultural sites to keep them safe from destruction. So, Sosok Museum isn't just a place, it's a symbol of resilience. And after a long chaotic first day, we ended the night the best way possible to have pasta.
So you guys are currently at Pizza Guys in Beirut, Lebanon, and this bottle of water costs 90,000 Lebanese currency, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's $1. Dollar is 90,000 Lebanese currency. And how much does your food cost?
Like 1.260,000. No, 1,260,000.
Yeah, and mine is also around that range. I think the total of my food is like $12, and that is 1 million Lebanese currency. I'm not sure how much, but when I'm paying, I'm going to know how much I'm trying to pay.
I bought fries for 270,000. Can you do it?
Easy, remember.
Easy, man.
Oh, good. So, you guys, I paid over 1 million Lebanese money for this. This is 300,000 Lebanese money. And the water is 90,000 Lebanese money. Let's taste it.
And that was just day one. Good morning. I'm so excited. It's a new day and we're ready to hit the streets of Lebanon. However, my suitcase was still missing, and since my winter clothes were in that bag, I had to layer my nightwear just to survive the cold. I called the airport again and they still hadn't found it, and at this point, I had to accept my fate. You know what they say about making lemonade out of lemon, right? That's what I'm doing right now. I also sent an email to my insurance provider and Egypt's baggage claim department, but deep down, I really just wanted my winter outfits. I was ready to slay. But no suitcase, no problem. I wasn't going to let this ruin my trip. So we booked a boat ride for the day, which was way cheaper than Uber, and we headed to Journey for the famous cable car ride to Harissa. And oh my god, the views from the cable car was absolutely breathtaking. Lebanon from a bird's eye view was so surreal. And after about 10 minutes, we arrived in Harissa. After alighting from the cable car, we had to hike up to Our Lady of Lebanon, and the views were super beautiful. But there was a problem. We couldn't take pictures because we weren't allowed to. Security cameras were everywhere, and if you got caught filming, you would be fined. So we had no choice but to respect ourselves and keep our phones away. After a couple of minutes of hiking, we finally got to Our Lady of Lebanon, which is located in a cathedral. And this cathedral is a pilgrimage site with a massive 15-ton bronze statue of Mary, Mother of Jesus, stretching her hands towards Beirut. And now, here is something I find very, very interesting. There was a fountain called the Pieta Fountain, and people were dropping money inside it in different currencies. I have no idea what that money does or where it goes to, but it was so fascinating to see, and I can't stop wondering where the money goes to. And after seeing Our Lady of Lebanon, we spontaneously decided to visit Batroun and Faraya because we had never seen snow before. That's why Faraya was so big on our list. Our first stop was Batroun, where we explored the old souk. But since Lebanon gets really dark super early, around 5 to 6 p.m., we had to quickly make it to Faraya before sunset. After a long drive from Batroun, we finally arrived in Faraya, but we weren't even done yet. We had to drive further up the mountain to see the snow and experience some winter activities. But guess what? By the time we arrived at the ski resort, it was already closed just minutes before 5 p.m. Did we get to ski? No. Did we get to touch snow for the first time in our lives? Yes. And honestly, we were still so grateful. We finally saw snow, and that alone made the trip worth it.
Habibi, come to Lebanon!
And just before we knew it, while we were still on the mountains in Faraya, it started getting dark and we headed back to our hostel. And we stopped by the supermarket to grab some groceries. That night, Ola cooked dinner for us, and let me tell you, it felt just like home. And what even made it better, some of the other travelers at the hostels made a French soup with potatoes, carrots, mushrooms, tomatoes, and other veggies. They shared some with us and we had it with rice. It was surprisingly good, and that was how the two in Lebanon went. So adventurous.
It's been the 3 in Lebanon. Lebanon has been so beautiful. I mean, it's a very beautiful country and great people. Really nice place to be. And it's also the 3 of repeating the same sweater. Well, you might want to ask me why. And it's because Egypt Air has misplaced my luggage. I knew it's winter in Lebanon, and I have packed for that. I have a suitcase that has almost everything I needed apart from, say, my gloves, but everything I needed was in that suitcase. Shoes, clothes, head warmer, shawls, everything that I would need for this super cold weather. I came from a country where even our Hamatan is not this crazy. My country is not this cold, even during our Hamatan season. I mean, I live in Lagos, Nigeria, and even Hamatan doesn't last for too long, and it has never been this cold, if you get what I mean. And then this is the 3rd day. I got to the Lebanon airport after my immigration checks, sorting my visa on arrival and everything. I immediately, traveling with 2 of my friends, actually, we immediately went to the baggage claim to get our bags. They got theirs and mine was missing. I immediately went to that desk where you get to report stuff, and they gave me a piece of paper that has my PIR reference and other information about me. They apparently has also gotten my information, right? And then this is crazy, eh? It's the 3rd day. I've been calling them since then, and they kept on saying, oh, it's going to take between 24 to 48 hours for me to get my baggage. They got the address of where I'll be staying. They got my phone number, and all of those information. And up until now, I still haven't gotten any of this, and honestly, it's crazy.
At this point, I had accepted my fate. I had to go shopping. So we headed to Burj Hammoud in the heart of the Lebanon's Armenian community to replace the essentials I lost, from my clothes to my perfumes and a new bag for packing them. But I made sure to keep every single receipt because my insurance provider would need them for a refund.
I am currently at Burj Hammoud, and I came shopping for my clothes because I still have about 9 days to go
And I'm not going to be wearing this one piece of sweater and jeans. So, and I also had to buy a bag for my clothes because I am also not going to pack my clothes on my hand. It's not possible. Definitely. So I'll show you guys what I'm up to and everything I've been doing.
Oh, and we did a little Armenian gold window shopping. But here is a spoiler alert here. They don't accept transfers. My friend wanted to buy, but she didn't have enough cash in USD. And here is another thing you should know about Lebanon. Almost everything is charged in dollars. Food, dollars. Taxis, dollars. Clothes, drinks, groceries, even dollars. The only thing that you can pay for in Lebanese pounds is maybe public transport. For everything else, better have your USD ready. After shopping, we stopped for brunch at the restaurant, and guess what? They were blasting Nigerian jams, and it felt like home for a moment, and I loved it. After our brunch, we headed back to the hostel and stayed indoors for the rest of the day. And the next day, we took a trip to Byblos, one of the oldest cities in the world.
So I bought this bag yesterday since Egypt airline lost my luggage, and there are a couple of clothes in it.
We walked through the old souk, we shopped for souvenirs, and we admired the beautiful cathedral and mosque that were standing side by side. And this is proof of the city's deep history and, of course, culture. And it was the moment I had been looking forward to. We moved to our second accommodation. It's a stunning mountain bungalow called the Secret Bungalows. It is located in Edi, Batroun. I hope that is how it is being pronounced. And this place, their bungalows cost from $150 per night, depending on where you decide to stay. And I'm also going to link it in my description below. So for our own space, it is fully equipped with kitchen, and it has a very huge balcony that overlooks the valleys of Batroun. And I think that was the highlight for me. I could see as far as the oceans, where their houses end, and then the oceans. It was so good. Apart from the fact that the views felt unreal, they also have a super fast Wi-Fi, and their staffs were super helpful. And the place was just complete peace. It was the perfect place to unwind for me. And since their TV is a smart TV that has both YouTube and Netflix, and there was Wi-Fi, we did what any Nigerian, or maybe most Nigerian, would have done. We watched Nollywood movies. We spent 2 days here completely soaking in the experience, but before we knew it, day 6 arrived and it was time to leave Lebanon. Now let's talk about the places we couldn't visit. Not because we didn't want to, but because they were either active war zones or dangerously close to them. Even with the ceasefire in effect, local authorities and embassies had strict lists of areas to avoid. We respected those guidelines, knowing that safety always comes first. And even some of our hostel mates had told us about these places to avoid. The warmth and the kindness of the Lebanese people shone through every interactions. Strangers helped us navigate the city, and locals went out of their way to make us feel welcome. It was an experience that defied all of the scary headlines. For me, Lebanon isn't just another destination, it's a country of contrasts. From losing my suitcase and dealing with unexpected challenges to experience breathtaking view, cultural vibes, and genuine kindness, every moment was unforgettable. Would I recommend visiting Lebanon? Absolutely. And because of the resilience and the beauty of this country, I walked away with memories that would last a lifetime. Let me know in the comments, would you ever visit Lebanon? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more travel stories.